A lot of people ask us when we're doing retention shooting, why would you do that? Well, you have to. This person got on top of me and started punching me in the face. In a last-ditch, desperate attempt, I hugged myself to him where I can access my pistol and draw it, because one more shot and I know my skull's going to crack. Got to draw the gun. We have a module of training that is designed to really make sense of the worst day of your life, which is what a grounded, entangled gunfight would absolutely be. I had two pivotal events when I was working as an undercover officer that put me in positions where I didn't have a training solution as far as how to use a gun, how to access a gun, and I was incapable. And in both events, which were life or death struggles, I got lucky. That created the impetus in me to personally try and figure out the best techniques that I could arm myself with. We literally had to, through trial and error, figure out what are the best ways to do this under actual real-world pressure. There's a right way and a wrong way to learn retention shooting. The right way is to have a progression that goes crawl, walk, run until you are drawing and firing in one motion. The first iteration of drill, Jeff's going to start with his forehead on the cardboard, just like so, simulating being in a clinch. I'm going to give him a preparatory command of ready, followed by an initial command of execution of one. And when I say one, what Jeff is going to do is he's going to establish grip on his pistol and take his support hand and flatten it to his chest. We call this a parking spot. So he's going to park his hand. I'm going to say two. When I say two, Jeff is going to draw the pistol and retract back to a thumb pectoral index where he has a locked wrist, a high elbow, and a flag thumb. I'm then going to tell Jeff, check your support hand. And when I say check your support hand, Jeff is going to look at his support hand and make sure it's not forward of the muzzle or doing anything odd. I will then say, check your muzzle line. Jeff will, from the thumb pectoral index, look at the line from the muzzle to the target to make sure there's no part of his gear or anything else that's in the way. All right. I will then give Jeff the command to fire. He will fire that round. I'll then say holster, and he will holster the gun. So, sequence of range commands put together going to look like this. Ready. 1, 2, check your support hand, check your muzzle line, fire, holster. Okay, so I've got a nice little cluster here in about 1.5 inches, and this is what we're looking for from the position. With every draw, with every shot on a flat stationary target, is that all of his rounds are inside of about 2 inches with no resistance from someone. This is what's going to give us the confidence to break that shot in an entanglement, clinch your ground, and know we're going to hit the bad guy, not hit ourselves or send one off into the public. All right, Jeff, ready. 1, 2, check your support hand, check your muzzle line, fire, holster, ready. 1, 2, check your support hand, check your muzzle line, fire, holster. Excellent work. Jeff did that cold. This position is well developed in him. We're highly consistent. He's inside of 1 inch. That's solid work. The classic phrasing in the 4 general rules for firearm safety in Rule 2 is finger off the trigger until sights are on target. One of the things that people say is, well, if you're in a retention position, your sights aren't on target. Actually, that's not true, because right now, those sights are most assuredly on target. Now, how do I confirm that my sights are on target? Am I doing that with my eyes? No, because I may be semi-conscious and can't see. What I'm confirming that with is a series of tactile indices that I confirm on cardboard through training, okay? So, what are the indices? The thumb pectoral index, the locked wrist, the high elbow, and the flag thumb. So right now, my sights are on target, but I'm not looking at the target, okay? However, is this a consistent position? All right, let's see where the rounds went. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. okay? Your sights are on the target. You're confirming them in a tactile manner, not a visual manner. Here's a question. Does a thumb pectoral index, as we teach it with a downward angle, does that satisfy Rule 4? Well, actually it does. Obviously, when my face is in another human being, I can't see what's beyond my target. However, because I have a downward angle, even if I were to have a through and through on that person, where do you think these rounds would go? Okay. I know where they're going. They're going to hit the deck. All right, Jeff. So, second iteration fire sequence of range commands follows. Ready, 1, 2, fire, holster. The only change is I'm not going to remind you about your body parts. All right. Ready, 1, 2, fire, holster. Ready, 1, 2, fire, holster. Very consistent, draw to draw, shot to shot, absolutely acceptable. A lot of people ask us why the downward angle. At some point in the training, this hand is going to be active and ahead of the muzzle, doing something that supports the fight. And that's absolutely what would happen in a real world environment. And what we see are retention shooting or close to the body shooting positions that begin to raise the muzzle up. All of a sudden, there's a lot of conflict with this hand. So the whole idea behind getting this down is to deconflict the support hand, which is always ahead of the muzzle in the real world. The other reason is when I am shooting at a downward angle, I always have a known backstop in a fairly chaotic event. There are 3 factors in a good retention position. It has to be repeatable, it has to be accountable, and it has to be predictable. Okay, that's our little acronym, RAP. Actually, Brian Frias, the 2-man of ShivWorks, he came up with that acronym, kind of described the specific and implied tasks required in a retention shooting position. Repeatable, accountable, and predictable. Third iteration of drill. Now we're going to combine the 1 and the 2 count that we did previously in the first 2 into one command. That command's going to be draw. I'll still give you a separate fire command and still give you a separate holster command. So sequence of range commands follows: ready, draw, fire, holster. The third iteration of drill is just a chance to draw into the position, take a moment of intentionality, then break the shot. All right? Okay. Ready, draw, fire, holster, ready, draw, fire, holster. Nicely done, buddy.
Oftentimes you see people with the butt like rotated out, right? And so what are the challenges with that? Does it fit into the repeatable, accountable, predictable?
We don't think it does. Okay, and here's why. This is a fairly weak position. This can easily get torn out of my hand compared to this. When I'm flagging my thumb and this is into my body, my chest is essentially acting as my support hand. What I'm looking for is as much surface contact area between my hand and my chest. If I roll this outboard, there is no real surface contact area with my hand and my chest, and all I know is where the magazine base pad is. I can't feel much difference here. I can feel a lot of difference here. I can feel the length of my thumb. I can feel these 3 fingernails on the top couple of ribs. I can feel this thick knotted ball of muscle that activates when I jack my elbow back. And I know, because I have a neutral hand and forearm, that there's a straight line that goes from my elbow to my muzzle with no wrist break. I think more often than not, what's happening is people are receiving their instruction from watching reels, and they think it looks simple. And I'm certainly not trying to overcomplicate it. And a lot of things that are happening with clothes and armor and pouches are coming from improperly learned thumb technique. I think people think that's easy. It's not necessarily easy, and there are details that need to be learned in person. Okay, last iteration of drill. We're going to combine the draw and the fire command into one thing, and that's going to be drawing and firing the gun. The command for you to do that is draw. So Sequence of range commands follows: ready, draw, holster. Now when I say draw, you will draw to the thumb pectoral index and break the shot of your own volition. I will still give you a moment and then give you a separate holster command. So ready, draw, holster, and that'll be our last sequence. Maybe you just picked up an arm drag, maybe you just got a duck under, you've got great position. Ready, draw, holster, ready, draw, holster. That is our retention shooting progression. We do this 40 weeks a year with everybody from commandos to soccer moms. And in now 33 years of running ranges in open enrollment, law enforcement, military, and other settings, including outside of the continental United States through interpreters, I have never had someone shoot themselves or someone else on a range I was running. I plan to keep it that way. Historically, again, this is considered a high liability area of instruction. I don't think it has to be, provided there are a couple of key things here. Number one, we truly believe that using your voice as the range control is vital, because what's really important is when you get a person who's nervous, maybe they haven't shot much, never shooting with their face this close to the target and the gun's this close to them, there's a whole lot of things that can go wrong. The whole purpose behind me using my voice is I can modulate my voice. You can't really modulate a timer or an air horn or a whistle. The gradient of control I have and the precision of control I have and being able to really lock down somebody's motor activity, that's vital. Obviously, if you were doing retention shooting or you teach retention shooting, you don't have to use our drills. What there has to be is a progression that gets a person that's never done this before to where they're drawing and firing in one motion. Quite often, I will see someone who's teaching a class in a video, and when they're teaching retention shooting, the instruction itself is fairly superficial and cursory. So if you're in a class and the guy says, all right, bros, this is what we're going to do. When I say bust them, you're going to tiger claw, skin that smoke wagon, and blast your way out. Now let's line up. And that's the extent of your instruction. Personally, I would sit that shit out.